Well, with the new Logan movie about to hit theaters, I thought it'd be time to review another X-Men game, X-Men Under Siege. Let's check it out. Okay, so looking at the X-Men Under Siege figures, you see some of them are a little bit different. Some of them look a little bit different, like Banshee's a little bit different. Archangel, I think, is a little bit different. Wolverine's is a little bit different from the last time. Some newer characters they put in there. Maverick, Jean Grey, I think, and Bishop are the new ones here. Some of them are new molds from the older games. Some of them are some of the old molds, like I think this is the same Gambit that they used in the first one. But you do get these mutants, and they do look good. I think Longshot may be a new one too. But anyway, those are all the figures that you do. Again, the figures look just really nice. I'll bring out Cyclops there and let you see him. So the figures just look really nice. Whoa, hey, what's that butt there? All right, so anyway, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to fend the X mansion here. And here's all the levels of the mansion. There's the attic, the second floor, the ground floor, the basement, the first sub-basement, and of course the second sub-basement. And it's a long board here, as you can see. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to clear each floor from evil mutants and whatnot. Now, how this game starts is that you're going to have to choose two characters from the whole list of characters I just showed you, and you're going to choose two. If you can't decide, you know, if your friends can't all agree on who you want to be, they said you can also, of course, shuffle them up and just dealt them out randomly. But everyone's going to start with two. The maximum X-Men you can have in your hand is 3. So anyway, so how's this game play? On the board here, there's little X's everywhere. Well, you're going to take some of those X's. They have these little cardboard chits you put out on top of all the X's, and they're according to color. So this yellow one would go on the yellow, purple would go up on purple over there, green up on there, pink, you know, would go here and whatnot, or maybe red. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to want to collect these X's. They're going to count for points. Now, what's going to happen is once everyone grabs their characters, you know, they're all going to roll dice, about 5 die, and whoever rolls the highest out of those die will get to go. So X-Men, if you roll X-Men, that's worth 1, Marvel's worth 2, and blanks are worth nothing, and evil mutants are worth nothing when you're rolling to see who goes first. Now, looking at these cards, just to kind of explain to you, even though I kind of explained this on the last video of X-Men Alert, these are very similar to the X-Men Alert cards. If you see, this fighting skill shows how many dice you can roll when fighting an evil mutant. Durability is how many hits you can take, and of course, every time you get hit by the villain, you'll be adding one of these little hit tokens on top of that X. Once he gets 3 X's up there, he is knocked out, and he's out of the game for right now. He has to try to recover. If he gets more hits than what his total allows, like let's say he has 2 hits, and he's fighting Sabretooth here. He's fighting Sabretooth, and Sabretooth knocks him out 2 more times. Well, any extra hit tokens will go on his picture, and if so, then he is critically injured. And just like in X-Men Alert, how to heal them is the same way. Once someone gets injured or critically injured, you have to throw the dice according to their durability. And what you're wanting to do is you're going to roll X-Men and Marvel tokens to get rid of the hit tokens on them. So let's say this is just a regularly injured Iceman here, and he's got 3 hits on him. So I'm going to roll the die. All right, and I really healed myself there. I got 2 Marvel tokens and 1 X-Men token. So that just means I cleared 5 of these. So even if I had extra on here, I cleared those 2. Now, what if I had an extra hit over here and 3 hits over here, and I rolled, oh gosh, nothing but blanks, let's say, or blanks are evil. If you roll an evil mutant when you're healing, it counts as 0. So what if I had rolled all blanks? Well, then if I didn't clear off all the hits, the extra hits, not these 3, but the extra hits that were on his picture, he is dead and out of the game. And they said if both of your guys, like let's say I had Jubilee and Iceman as a team, if both of them died in the game, then they said you would randomly choose one out of the deck and you'd play with another X-Men. Now, like I said, there are ways to get X-Men in this game. There are certain tokens that say X-Men. You see, here's the regular X. It says X-Men. When you get that, you can grab another X-Men randomly from the stack. And each one of these X-Men also come with special powers as well, as you see. here, and each one is different. Kind of helps you kind of cheat some of the rules in the game. Next thing you're going to do when setting up is you're going to give everyone Under Siege cards. And how many are you going to give them? Well, it's going to be equal to their total intelligence of both their people. So for instance, if I was Jubilee and Iceman, I would get 2 for him and 2 for her. So I would get 4 Under Siege cards. And what these Under Siege cards do is they let you transport to different places, and sometimes you have extra special, waka, that you can move around the building, or just certain cards that give you extra abilities. But most of these are just room cards, and they're located all around the X mansion here, and they let you go to that specific area in the mansion. And look at that big mansion there. So like I said, the long board is kind of weird, kind of different, but I kind of dig it. But you're putting your people, transporting them to those rooms. So in one move, I could put him to the ready room in the second basement level. And when I did, I would flip over that X to see if it was anything. If it's nothing, I pick it up. That's going to count for a point for me. If I pick it up and it says X-Men, I get a new X-Men. If I pick it up and it says Evil Mutant, well, then I have to battle. So if it says Evil Mutant, what we got to do is we got to choose from one of these Evil Mutants here. And it's just going to be the top card. You're going to shuffle these up. And let's see, who do I fight here? It is Wendigo. Okay, so he's the Evil Mutant I got to fight. Now he has a strength on 15. What does that mean? What it means is I'm going to take this Evil Mutant token, and I encountered him, let's say, in the danger room here. That was the one that flipped over and had an Evil Mutant. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this track that you see up here, and I'm going to go to 15, which is right there. And so that's where Wendigo is. And I've got to fight Wendigo. So every turn, on my turn, I'm going to roll the dice equal to my fighting skill. Well, that was Cyclops there, so I don't know. Let's say Cyclops is 3. What did he do? He'd roll 3 die. And right here, you see I got 2 hits on him and nothing. So then he would go down 1, 2 down the track. And as you see, once he gets to 0, then I have defeated him. Now, I cannot leave that room until I have defeated him or he has defeated me. How does he defeat me? Remember those Evil Mutant numbers? If it comes up on the die as an Evil Mutant, then I get a hit token that I got to place on my card there. But there's also some extra points you can get. As you see, there's little blood splatters every once in a while. What those are critical hits. And if I hit on the critical hit or pass it, then I will get these little critical hit tokens that come in the game, and those will also count at points at the end of the game. So there's several ways. Even if he kills me, maybe I got a few critical hits on him, someone else can go to that room and try to defeat Wendigo. But once you are in battle, you cannot retreat. You can't play a card and bounce them out of there. No. Now, if it was nothing, then I could just use another card on my next turn and then move him to somewhere else in the area. Now, in the game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get as many X's as you can for each one of these rooms. And the instructions will tell you how many rooms you have to take over before you can claim the room token. And they have room tokens for each color, each colored room that you will get. These are worth a lot more bonus points that you can get in the game as you clear out a floor. And again, like I said, I think in the attic, the top one up there, there's 4 spots. If you have 3 of them, then you have claimed the floor. What that means is you get the other X if no one else has taken it, and you get that corresponding token, the light blue one, which is of course the last one I picked up right here. So you would get the blue one. And these can be worth 4 points, 6 points, 5 points. It just depends, and it'll tell you actually on the board, like this one says 6 points if you clear it out. So that's 6 points on top of all the X's you get, on top of all the critical hits you get, on top of all the evil mutants you get. And as you see, that's how you're going to tally up your score at the end. Now, what happens if no one gets that majority? Like, let's say there's 4 people playing and that someone got 4, another person got 4, another person got 4. Who gets it? No one does. If no one got the majority of them, then the little extra bonus chit that goes with it is taken out of the game. So you have to get the majority. So, of course, you have to know when to play. Well, that's a lot of X specials there. You have to know when to play some of these room cards and where you want to go next. Now, at the end of your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to draw up to the cards, number of cards that you played. So if you played extra special cards or room cards, you're going to draw up to your shared intelligence. Now, if one of your characters is dead, your intelligence goes down and you don't get as many cards. Of course, you could always pick up a third X-Men, and then, like if I picked up Rogue as I got a new X-Men, then in that case, I would have 2, 4, 6 cards. So the more X-Men you have, of course it makes sense, the more rooms you can look at and the more options you can have. Now, in this game, they also do the same thing as the first one. They do bases. And I would say for this game, you would probably need the bases since you're going to have so many X-Men on the board at one time. And as you see, these just kind of easily slip on there and let you know, okay, Cyclops belongs to the yellow player, and so on and so forth. So in this game, I would probably definitely use the bases on this. But at the end of the game, after all the mutants will be defeated, all the rooms will be cleared, you'll add up the points, and the person with the most points at the end wins in X-Men Under Siege. All right, so final thoughts. X-Men Under Siege. What do I think about this game? Well, I think that my copy didn't have the free X-Men Survival Guide to the Mansion, the abridged version. Yeah, because I don't have time for the unabridged. That would be way too long. I wish it came with this. Someone had requested me to review this game, and usually I don't take requests, but I thought it was really cool because she said, hey, you know what, Logan's coming out, you should review those X-Men games. I was like, yeah, I should. As you see, this is very similar to the game I reviewed earlier called X-Men Alert. A lot of the mechanics are the same. In fact, it's the exact same dice as the first game. A lot of the figures look the same. They're not all the same. Some of them are different molds, as I showed you, and some of the characters are different. I'm kind of glad they took out Professor X, because even though he's cool in X-Men Alert, who really wants to say, ooh, I want to be Professor X? No one says that. Of course, I guess no one says they want to be Jubilee either. This game came out, to my knowledge, I think like a year later, and it looks like, of course, Pressman just brought out the same game. They just changed and updated it. I guess they learned from their mistake from the first one. Like, you know, you hardly get to move these X-Men at all. They just stand on one platform and fight, 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 and that's it. And these are great figures, and you don't move them around the board. So this time they came up with something where they can move them around the mansion. Now, the guide to the mansion, the layout to the mansion is really cool. The idea is really neat. This game is better than X-Men Alert, in my opinion. In fact, they made another game called X-Men Danger Room. I don't have it. I'm not going to get it because I already have these, and I don't really play these two games as much. X-Men Under Siege is a lot better. One of my co-hosts on Saturday Morning Samoflange, a podcast I have, he actually brought it up to me and said, yeah, I used to play X-Men Under Siege. I was like, what is that? And I looked it up. I was like, whoa, this looks interesting. And I got both this and X-Men Alert for like super cheap, like as a package deal. And I was super happy when they came in. And so I brought him out to him and said, hey, man, we're going to play some X-Men. He was like, oh, yeah. How about we play this game first? He didn't want to play it. It was like, that was nice back as a kid, but I think there's other games I'd rather be playing. And I can see that. This game, I don't think is for adults at all. I don't think adults could really get into it. I mean, maybe if you had a bunch of X-Men nerds who liked the comic books back in the day, then yeah. For kids who like X-Men, it probably would be fun because the figures are fun. It's exciting. If you find an evil mutant, it turns out to be someone like Magneto or someone really hard to beat. You know, everyone freaks out. So that for that aspect, it's pretty fun. Again, though, I cannot recommend this game either because it sells for so much online. And so I wouldn't pay that much for it, to be honest. It's not worth the 50, 60 bucks it's going for online. It's just not worth it. I mean, those are nice figures. They're plastic, they're light, they look heavy and metal. If they were metal, I would understand maybe the price, but I don't understand where people are asking for that price because it's not necessarily a great game. It's a game, you know, if you saw it for cheap, get it. I think my comic book store here in town has a copy that they're selling. And they're selling it for like, I think 30 bucks. I think that's a decent deal. So if you want to get it there. I don't know what they're doing with the copy though. This is a really old game. But they just might have found it in stores, dusted it off, and put it on the shelf. I saw it and I was like, oh cool, Under Siege. But I already have it and I got it for even cheaper than that. So I don't really need it. If you find it at a garage sale, maybe pick it up if you have it for a good deal. Like I said, it's very simple to learn. Kids love it, but for the price it's going for secondhand on eBay, not worth your time. Anyway, folks, speaking of time, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, game on.